In the Philippines, on the main island of Luzon, there is one mountain you cannot miss. Mayon Volcano rises above Albay province with an almost perfect cone shape. It is so recognizable that it is part of daily life there. Roads curve around it, farmland spreads toward it. Towns sit there in view of its slopes, built by people who understand that this mountain has a long memory. In early January 2026, that memory woke up again. Scientists monitoring the volcano noticed changes they take very seriously. At the top, a slowly growing lava dome started to fall apart. Chunks broke off. Hot material slid down the mountainside. Thick clouds of ash and gas rushed through valleys that were carved out by past eruptions. What you are about to discover is what shifted underground in early January 2026 that turned routine monitoring into urgent evacuations, and why this particular pattern of activity is exactly what volcanologists fear most. By the end of this video, you will understand the impossible calculation thousands of Filipinos face right now: how to know when a mountain that never fully sleeps has finally woken up enough to run, and what happens when that answer arrives too late. Within a few days, officials raised the alert level. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, PHIVOLCS, moved Mayon to alert level 3. That is not the highest warning possible, but it is a strong signal that the volcano had moved into a more dangerous phase. It marked a shift from being restless to doing things that could have real consequences far beyond the crater. This naturally raises a question that people living nearby have learned to ask carefully. What exactly changed underground to trigger this response? To answer that, we need to understand what Alert Level 3 actually means. Volcano alert levels are not predictions. They are assessments of what is happening right now. At Mayon, Alert Level 3 does not mean a huge eruption is about to happen. It means that magma is close enough to the surface to create dangerous situations without much warning. At this point, the hazards are not just possibilities anymore. They are real. PHIVOLCS points to lava dome collapses, fast-moving clouds of hot gas and rock falls, and ash bursts as likely threats. These are not abstract dangers. They were actually seen in early January. Those fast-moving clouds of hot gas and rock are especially important. Scientists call them pyroclastic density currents. But what matters is this: they are rapid, deadly flows of scorching gas, ash, and volcanic debris that race down the slopes pulled by gravity. They do not creep along like lava does. They charge forward, following valleys, and they can move faster than people can run. This is why Alert Level 3 is such a critical turning point. What is happening at the top can quickly become life-threatening danger on the sides of the mountain. Authorities also set up a no-fly zone over the volcano, not because ash had already reached high up in the sky, but because sudden explosive bursts cannot be ruled out at this stage. Alert Level 3 is about staying alert. It is about recognizing that the volcano's behavior has reached a point where every minute counts. And that behavior started with something that sounds small, but packs enormous energy: the collapse of the lava dome. At Mayon Summit, a lava dome forms when thick magma slowly pushes up and piles up near the crater. This magma is too thick and sticky to flow easily, so it builds upward, layer after layer, kind of like wax cooling from the top down. But lava domes aren't stable. As they grow, gravity pulls on their edges while trapped gas pushes outward. Cracks appear. Eventually, parts give way. In early January 2026, monitoring confirmed that sections of Mayon's summit dome had collapsed. The falling material did not just tumble down like cold rocks. It broke apart, heated the air around it, and mixed with volcanic gases still escaping from the magma. The result was deadly hot clouds racing down specific channels. These flows stayed within known paths. They did not reach any villages, but their presence shows that Mayon can produce lethal hazards, even without a massive explosive eruption. Along with these collapses, people watching the volcano noticed frequent rock falls and continued lava pushing out at the summit. This pattern is typical for Mayon, and one reason the volcano is considered one of the most consistently active in the Philippines. What makes this phase especially worrying is not just what is happening at the summit, but how close it is happening to where people live. To understand the risk, we need to look at the safety boundaries drawn around the mountain. Every hazard map marks a permanent danger zone extending roughly 6 kilometers, about 3.7 miles, from the summit. Living permanently inside this zone is discouraged because history shows what Mayon can do. Fast-moving hot flows, lava streams, and chunks of rock thrown out like cannonballs that do not care about property lines. With Alert Level 3 in effect, authorities strengthened the no-entry rules within that zone and increased vigilance beyond it. The Department of the Interior and local governments pushed for evacuations and restricted access. Flights were redirected, tours were called off. These moves might seem sudden, but they are based on decades of watching this volcano. Mayon has produced sudden dangers with very little extra warning once these conditions appear. Danger zones are not about causing panic. They are about understanding probability. When that probability goes up, preparation shifts from planning to actually doing something. That action isn't just measured in policies, but in people leaving their homes. By the time Alert Level 3 was fully declared, evacuations were already underway. Nearly 2,900 residents were moved from the highest risk areas. These were families who had lived near the permanent danger zone before and who already knew the drill. Evacuation centers opened their doors. Local officials organized transportation, medical care, and basic supplies. There was no chaos, no frantic last-minute rush. The movement was orderly and planned. People left not because disaster had already happened, but because it could. This difference matters. It reflects lessons learned from previous eruptions, that waiting too long limits your choices, disrupts lives even more, and leaves everyone uncertain about what comes next. Acting early while disruptive is much safer. The decision to move people early recognizes a basic truth about Mayon. Its deadliest moments often do not come with dramatic warnings, but during ongoing activity that suddenly gets worse. To understand why, we need to step back. Mayon is a stratovolcano built over thousands of years by repeated eruptions. Its steep slopes are not random. They reflect layers of lava and ash stacking up in roughly the same spot over and over. Below ground, a magma system is fed by a process called subduction, when one tectonic plate slides beneath another. The Philippine Sea Plate is sinking beneath the Eurasian Plate. That sinking melts rock deep underground, allowing magma to rise. At Mayon, magma is often thick and sticky. It traps gas inside and resists flowing smoothly. This combination leads to dome growth, pressure building up, and occasional releases of that pressure. Sometimes the release is gentle, with lava flows and small collapses. Other times it can ramp up to explosive eruptions. The current activity fits this well-known pattern. Dome growth followed by collapse is classic Mayon behavior. What changes is the size and intensity. Right now, scientists see enough activity to be cautious, but cannot predict exactly what will happen. This uncertainty is not because they are doing something wrong. It is simply the honest limit of what we can forecast. This is why monitoring gets more intense at Alert Level 3. Earthquake activity is tracked for signs of magma moving. Gas coming out of the volcano is measured for changes in amount and for changes in composition. The lava dome is watched for new growth or more collapses. Increasing tremors could mean magma is pushing upward. More ash could signal that magma is breaking apart close to the surface. Rapid dome growth could warn of bigger collapses ahead. At the same time, things could stabilize. Lava pushing out might slow down, collapses could happen less often, and activity might level off without a major eruption. Both outcomes are possible. This is the space that communities and authorities are in right now. Not crisis, not calm, but alert and watching. Living with that uncertainty is part of life near Mayon. It shapes decisions and how people think about risk. This brings up a bigger question. What does it mean to live long-term next to a volcano that never truly sleeps? Mayon has erupted dozens of times in recorded history. Each eruption becomes part of local memory. Each evacuation raises questions about timing, judgment, and whether warnings were good enough. The events of January 2026 don't close a chapter. They reopen an ongoing conversation between people and a mountain that doesn't follow human schedules. Being prepared isn't about being certain. It's about accepting that the forces shaping this mountain work on scales bigger than any single person's decisions or even a generation's experience. Early evacuations show wisdom gained from experience, but they also raise quiet questions. How long can communities stay displaced if the unrest continues? How quickly could conditions change again? If activity dies down, what signs confirm it's actually stable? If it gets worse, how much time will there be between warning and danger? For now, monitoring continues. Instruments listen. Observers wait. The mountain gives no answers. Its constant reminder is that the ground beneath Mayon is alive. It moves on its own schedule, and the future here isn't announced ahead of time. It is revealed slowly, one signal at a time. If living near an active volcano seems risky, you need to see what else made the list. Check out the top 10 most unsafe places to live in the Philippines in 2026. Some of these might actually surprise you more than Mayon.